35 years, we've been helping families through the hardest times of their lives. That's because we're a family as well. When your family loses a loved one, we're here to help. We're Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson. We're here when you need us.
We have the tools, we have the talent. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time on Talk Radio WRNR. A look at local sports with the play-by-play voice of local sports, Matt Miller.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome into Miller Time on this Wednesday, October 31st. Yep, it is Halloween, the final day of this month of October. We move into November tomorrow, and that means Thanksgiving and Christmas are right around the corner. Where did the year go?
Do you want to turn my mic on?
You're up. You're up.
Yeah, I know. I had to look at it for you to turn it on. I guess you didn't want me talking tonight.
Hold on. Go again. There you go now.
It's amazing how much control you have over there.
It is incredible.
No, but I hate that you mention Thanksgiving and then you just roll straight to Christmas.
I know.
Thanksgiving, it deserves its due diligence.
It does.
It's the best holiday of the year.
Yes.
And people just skip over because it's smack dab in the middle of one holiday that brings in fall and then the other one that is the biggest holiday of the year in Christmas. Not saying I have an issue with Halloween or Christmas. They're both fine holidays in their own right, but I'm a Thanksgiving guy.
What is it? You tell me about Thanksgiving?
The 3 F's, and I'll keep it clean. Food, family, and football.
There it is.
It's the greatest holiday of the year. You're with your family, your friends, you're the ones you love most. You got great food that you don't necessarily get all year. I mean, some people do turkey and all that at other points of the year, but usually it's not all in one fell swoop like that. And there's now 3 football games on. It's the greatest holiday of the year.
There you go. Add in a little thankfulness in there as well.
Well, yeah, you're thankful for the people you're there with. You're thankful for the food you're about to eat, and you're thankful that the good Lord created the pigskin and the great game of football.
Be careful about that pigskin. I got one of those at home now. That's bona fide leather there. That's the outside of a cow, not a pig. But I guess is the inside bladder, is that where that comes from, the idea of the pigskin?
I couldn't tell you.
I would have to look up the history of that terminology to see where that has come from.
I'm sure it had to come from them using some part of the pig at one, because it wasn't always a leather football.
That's true.
It's evolved to become a leather football. So I assume it at one point was created from pig innards in what you just said or something like that.
Well, now that we've totally taken this show in a
different direction. I didn't think I'd be using the word innards at the beginning of this show, but hey, we got a scheduling update to talk about.
What?
Yeah. Are you not knowing what the schedule update is?
What got changed?
The high school football season yet again.
No.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Like, once again, people are afraid to play in the rain.
I tell you, this has Matt very well shaken up.
It's football, and it's high school football. You play on Friday night, you play in the rain, you play in the whatever.
Now, we've had some really bad, rainy, stormy situations earlier in the year
where they were played on Friday.
Where we had games that were postponed.
Why didn't you move those when it was lightning and you had a chance for thunderstorms?
We had games that were suspended because of lightning and had to restart the next day. And so last weekend, Martinsburg decided on their night of senior night and Hall of Fame night and big game against an undefeated Musselman team. They moved it to Saturday. Other teams in the area, not necessarily the Panhandle, but in Virginia and other spots not too far from here, moved games up a day to Thursday night.
Yeah, Martinsburg was the only team in West Virginia that played on Saturday.
That's it.
Everybody else played either got it in Thursday night or played on Friday.
Well, now once again, there's the threat of rain with the potential for some thunderstorms as a part of that as well. And so we have had 2 area games, which, by the way, there are only 3 Eastern Panhandle Athletic Conference games this weekend, as 2 of them match up league teams. Martinsburg is on a bye, and so Spring Mills at Hedgesville, they've decided, hey, we're playing on Friday night. We're keeping it right where it is.
They're the Reals. They're doing it the way it should be.
There you go. So the game time is 7, and we'll have the coverage right here on Talk Radio WRNR and TV 10, beginning with Miller Time at 5, the official pregame at 6:30, and 7 o'clock the kickoff with Spring Mills at Hedgesville. But now, tomorrow, instead of Friday, it will be Preston at Musselman and Washington at Jefferson. Both of those games have been pushed up one day.
Why?
The weather's going to be much nicer tomorrow.
It's the last week. Congratulations, you've gotten all the way to the end of the season. Hey, let's play on Thursday. For the Jefferson County schools, it's going to be the last Friday night lights they get to play this season. And hey, let's make it Thursday night lights.
All right, you have a vote on your side. Ben Copenhaver tuning in just gave me the text. Matt's right. Don't be afraid to play in the rain.
Thank you, Ben.
There you
Appreciate. Yeah, it's
right.
Football.
So that becomes our Facebook poll question. We will have to post. It's been a while since we've put up a Facebook question. We've determined whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not, which it is not.
Depends on whether you're going by the textbook definition or not. But.
All right, and so we've had some others. I'm trying to think what that was the biggest one that sticks out in my brain.
There's a couple. It was like the excitement for the NFL that we did like midway through the summer, things like that.
Right, are you ready for it? And most people were not. So now we'll add this one. You know, should high school football play rain or shine on Friday night, or should games be moved when it comes to inclement weather?
Me and Monty.
Want me to tell you how to spell inclement? Because I don't really know.
Me and Monty Cater have the same mentality.
Monty Cater?
Yeah, Monty Cater.
On a Saturday game?
On playing on nights that aren't meant for certain levels of football to play on.
Okay, does it sound something like this?
I am not a fan and never will be a fan of the Thursday night game.
Bingo.
Was it okay?
Thank you, Coach Cater. But he was referring to games being on Thursday rather than Saturday. Well, that was before we interviewed him before the Fairmont State game last year?
Yes.
Yes, which was played on Thursday night. See, those I think are kind of fun.
But see, okay, you hit the nail, though, earlier when you said, and you'll hear it tomorrow morning on our Miller Time commentary if you tune into the morning program, you said football is made for high school Friday, college Saturday, NFL Sunday, and they can even have Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night's been around long enough.
There you go. But that's not how it is anymore. College gets Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because you can find colleges on TV playing
the one
any day of the week.
Each night on Tuesdays?
I don't even know.
It's some conference out in the Midwest.
So
that plays on that, like they play Tuesday nights.
And so you've got all of those games going on, and that's all TV generated. And of course, the NFL wants to now play on Thursday night, which to me is the stupidest thing ever, unless they have two teams coming off of bye weeks that would play, so they had enough time and rest and preparation for the game. Then that would be one thing, but that's not happening. And I don't expect Thursday night football in the NFL to last through the next collective bargaining agreement because I expect the players and the Players Association to go, I'm thumbing my nose at this. We're not signing anything if this is a part of it. And then, of course, high school football, I agree. Friday night, and, of course, some Saturday games. You know, there are those places like the Handley Judges, not far away in Winchester, Virginia, that don't have lights. And so they have that Saturday afternoon tradition. I get that with some high schools as well.
It's the Mid-American Athletic Conference that does Tuesday night games. This weekend was Miami of Ohio against Bowling Green.
All right.
And there's a second one that was Ohio University against the Buffalo Bulls. So, yeah, there's college football. And that conference has at least one or two games each Tuesday night. So college football has decided they want football every night of the week possible. Which, again, isn't the worst thing in the world, I don't think. I think it's kind of nice in certain aspects. Because how many people are going to watch Miami of Ohio take on Kent State or Bowling Green on a Saturday? How many people would tune that in when, okay, this Saturday, say, again, it was Kent State taking on Miami of Ohio. I'm sorry, Bowling Green taking on Miami of Ohio Tuesday. How many people are going to watch that game? Or, hey, it's a 1-3 SEC matchup between Alabama and LSU on Saturday. How many people are going to watch that if they can watch Alabama and LSU? None, unless you're a fan or an alumni of one of those schools.
But I still don't see a lot of people. Now, I admit there will be some, but I don't see a lot of people tuning in on Tuesday night.
I at least tune in to see what's going on with it. I don't set my DVR or set my recording device to go make sure that's recorded so I can watch the whole thing. But if I'm scrolling through the channels on a Tuesday night and I see a live Division I college football game, I'm clicking on it.
But you're clicking on it for a time. You're not clicking on it to actually watch it.
Yeah, but
you're catching bits and pieces.
What do you
do? I'm not interested any longer.
What do you do except for the highlight game on Saturday? Again, this week it'll be LSU and Alabama. In the middle of the day when it comes to college football, what do most people do?
Okay.
When their team's not playing, what do? You skip around the 9 other options you have to watch football that day. That's no different than skipping around the channels and coming back to one football game on a Tuesday night.
Okay, then if that's the case, then my playing on Tuesday night is not necessarily there to draw any more attention to me, or is not succeeding in drawing any more attention to me than what it would on a Saturday afternoon.
It is because of the teams that are playing.
So now why am I doing that and putting my own regular fan base at risk, who have a hard time? I'm going to have to take off at least half the day Tuesday to get there and to be there ahead of time and find my parking spot, and I'd like to tailgate a little bit and hang out with friends and get geared up and fired up and then go to the game, and then, the game's going to end late. I'll probably be late to work the next day. So I'm going to be affected for at least 2 days in the early part of the week, Tuesday into Wednesday, also that my team can get a little bit of exposure that may bring in a fringe fan here or there, not much different than it would have done on Saturday when I would have been able to spend the whole day. I think it still is very little reward for the risk that you put your regular fan base in.
But think about the environments that these teams are in. Again, we're just talking about Miami of Ohio or Ohio University. What is the majority of the state of Ohio doing on a Saturday afternoon? They're watching the Buckeyes. Yes, you're going to have fans that are that maybe they were alumni of Ohio University or Miami of Ohio. But at the end of the day, you look, and that's just one example because of this conference. Most of the state of Ohio on a Saturday afternoon is tuning in, or Saturday evening, is tuning in to watch the Buckeyes. And you look between the two, what are they going to watch? The Bowling Green Miami of Ohio game, or are you going to watch the Buckeyes take on one of the very impressive Big Ten teams?
But again, I'm saying I don't see that a lot of those fans that would have been watching the Buckeyes on Saturday are on a Tuesday night tuning in to catch Miami of Ohio anyway. So what I'm saying is your regular fan base is the fan base that would be out there perhaps more on a Saturday than they would on a Tuesday night.
I think you'd be surprised.
We talked about it in the MEC when Shepherd was going down to Fairmont, and you looked at 5 consecutive years where Shepherd and Fairmont played at Fairmont on a Saturday afternoon, and they drew twice as many fans on that Saturday afternoon as they did playing on that Thursday night.
But the reason they do the Thursday night games at Fairmont is because everybody's going to the WVU games. Now, did you look and see when WVU was playing those weekends that Fairmont and Shepherd were playing on Saturdays?
I did not go back and look.
Because if Fairmont and Shepherd are playing at 12 noon and the Mountaineers are away at 4:30, you can do both. Or they're home for a night game in Morgan. You can do both. So, again, that'd be something to go back and look at. Not that it really matters at this point. But I think you'd be surprised.
Speaking of doing both, we're going to talk both girls and boys high school soccer when we come back, because the state tournament is this weekend, and our local representative as regional champions will be the Hedgesville Eagles, and both boys and girls will hear from their head coaches as we continue on Miller Time.
Hello, this is Steve Boykin from Martinsburg. After seeing the fine work John Hardy did during the Habitat for Humanity Blitz builds, we asked him to work on our home. We found John Hardy to be an honest, hardworking, ethical leader. He's respected by his employees and listens to his customer. Change for change's sake is not what West Virginia needs. We will not just hear talking point speeches from John Hardy. He will not be swayed by lobbyists. John Hardy will listen to our needs. Strong Christian and conservative values make John Hardy the best choice to represent the 63rd District. We need common sense, maturity, life experience, and focused goals in Charleston. We need someone who will fight to keep taxation in check, someone who will not try to spend our way out of debt, someone who will not pander to special interest groups, and someone who will honor our Christian values. John Hardy is that person. In November, join our family in voting for John Hardy for the 63rd.
Paid for by John Hardy for House of Delegates. Fire off this season with Sunfire Energy Solutions. When it comes to gas, wood, and pellet fireplaces, stoves, and inserts, we've got it all. Quadrafire, Harmon, Heat and Glow, Vermont Castings, and much more. Come by and see the 3,000 square foot showroom located in downtown Martinsburg with hundreds of outdoor amenities to choose from. Are you already dreading the expected heating bill increases? We can help. Sunfire Energy Solutions is your total energy experts. Find out more on Facebook and sunfireenergysolutions.com or stop by the showroom today.
I'm Kyle Montgomery with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. A whole lot of wheeling and dealing Tuesday as the NFL trade deadline saw several big-name players switching teams. Five-time Broncos Pro Bowl receiver Demaryius Thomas was traded to Houston for 4th and 7th round picks. His first game as a Texan will be Sunday back in Denver against his old team. Other big trades, Lions receiver Golden Tate was shipped out to Philly for a 3rd round pick. The Jags sent former 1st round pick Dante Fowler Jr. to the Rams, also for a 3rd round. And the Packers made 2 moves, sending Pro Bowl safety HaHa Clinton-Dix to the Skins and running back Ty Montgomery to the Ravens. In non-trade news, the Bears announced that Pro Bowl guard Kyle Long will miss 6 to 8 weeks with a foot injury, while the Bills signed free agent wideout Terrell Pryor. And Niners QB C.J. Beathard missed Tuesday's practice with an injured wrist. Nick Mullins will start Thursday night against the Raiders if Beathard can't go. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Napa know-how.
This month, a 2-pack of Napa Night Vision headlamps is up to $10 off. Because with fall comes longer nights and poor overall visibility. Luckily, our headlamps have superior illumination, which helps reduce the chance of an accident. See better, drive safer, with up to $10 off a 2-pack of Napa Night Vision headlamps. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer ends 10/31/18.
The national debt is now over $20 trillion. What happens next? Rising inflation drops in the dollar's value. Some experts say another crash is coming. You can fight this, not with stocks or bonds, but with gold and silver coins in an IRA from Augusta Precious Metals. Call 855-858-5807 and learn how an IRA backed by physical gold and silver can hedge against inflation. Call Augusta Precious Metals right now at 855-858-5807 and get a free gold IRA guide. Call 855-858-5807.
Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
I'm John Doyle. I'm running for the House of Delegates because I think education is the key to economic development. West Virginia has the lowest percentage of college graduates of any state in the union. That's why we're 49th in the nation in per capita income. Let's make the first 2 years of public college, university, and vocational school tuition free. Then we'll begin to solve that problem, and we'll begin to get really good jobs here in West Virginia. I'm John Doyle. I approve this message.
Paid for by John Doyle for Delegate Rod Snyder, Treasurer.
Hey, Amy, did you know the Honda Dream Deal sales event is literally happening right now? There's literally great deals on certified pre-owned Hondas.
Literally? I don't trust that word anymore ever since my coworker Jerry told me he could literally eat 1,000 burritos.
That's literally impossible, but there is literally a Honda Dream Deal sales event. And Honda is KBB.com's 2018 best value brand. Seriously.
Now's the time to get a great deal on a certified pre-owned Honda at your local Honda dealer.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 brand image awards from Kelly Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for information.
We welcome you back into Miller Time. This portion of the program, a service of the Mirius Group and Ameriprise Financial Advisors, John Everson and Phil McCoy. Call Ameriprise Financial Services at 304-263-4343 or stop by their offices. They're at 1270 Winchester Avenue in Martinsburg. I got a text over the break. You got one too?
I did.
Yeah. Yours was from?
My mother.
And she said?
Play in the rain, says the woman who left my rainiest game in high school.
Oh, Mommy called you out there. I can't believe she'd say that because she was probably responsible for cleaning up your uniform afterwards, right?
No, they did her laundry at school.
Oh, okay. So the team took care of that?
Yeah, she had everything else to clean, so.
I got an anonymous text that says Crawford doesn't have to pay the bills. So, therefore, you don't understand why a game might need to be moved.
All right, here's the only thing I'm going to say. I know we got to get an interview, but going back to the Musselman-Martinsburg game this past Saturday that got moved because of rain. In the pregame, Vic Holmes made the statement that the away sideline and the away stands at Coburn Field were not nearly as full as he thought they were going to be compared to what the Sharando game was. Sharando, he made the point that they were sitting in the aisles. You could barely walk up and down the stairs on the away side. And that there were still seats available on the away side for the Musselman game. And that, it was still a battle of undefeateds. It was still a local rivalry game.
And what I still think, though, is there's a sense of reality when it came to the fan base that was coming to both of those games as to what the expectation of the game was. And I don't know that the crowd was going to be that much greater for the Musselman game on a Friday night, especially in the rain, than what it turned out to be on a Saturday night when the weather really turned out to be pretty decent. All right, we got to get in to our interview as we talked earlier today with John Coleman, head coach of the Hedgesville Eagles boys soccer team. They are the regional champions and leaving tomorrow for Beckley to play in the state semifinals against Hurricane. We caught up with him and talked to him about the opportunity.
Well, I'd like to think that we learned some lessons last year when we went there, and we did unfortunately lose in the first game, but we learned a lot on how to deal with the pressure of it, and we took a lot of guys with us last year that are returning this year, and I'm hoping that experience will pay dividends, and we'll get a win on Friday, and then hopefully another win and bring a state championship home to Berkeley County. That'd be awesome.
We talked to you a little bit earlier in the playoffs. What has the road looked like for you guys up to this state tournament?
You know, we didn't struggle too much through our sectional. We knew that Jefferson was going to be probably one of the toughest games we've played, and they were. You know, that night whoever got lucky was going to win the game, or whoever made a mistake first was going to win the game. And that's pretty much what happened. We got a rebound and found the back. Juan Tuzondo found the back of the net for us, and that's what happened. You know, when we talk about getting to the state tournament and on the road, we've already played two of the teams that are in the state tournament during our regular season. We've already played up at the university, and we didn't have a very good outcome there, but it was also our homecoming dance day, and I was missing a couple kids, and I think we were a little distracted by that. So we've already played university, but I know that we can play with them. And again, it would be one of those games where whoever makes the first mistake is going to win. And then earlier this year, we went to a scrimmage in Wheeling Park, and we played against Hurricane. So we've already faced Hurricane once this year and seen what they had. Again, the result wasn't all that good, but we know that we can play with all those guys. I think the four teams that are there are pretty much the four teams that deserve to be at the state level. We've all kind of been playing back and forth, but I think we're where we need to be to try to bring home state championship.
How do you feel that very tough regional final against Jefferson really helps to prepare you for what you'll see in the state semifinals?
No doubt. I mean, Jefferson basically plays the same sort of schedule as we do. We don't try to, how do I say this, kind of soften our schedule any with playing a lot of teams that aren't quality. When we travel, we try to play the best teams we can. One, to get recognition throughout the state for our players, because just last week we did the state voting on players of the year and players of the region, things like that. And if you don't venture out of the area, you don't know what the rest of the state has, and you can't get enough votes to get your players on the state recognition team. So that's pretty much why we do that. And the other thing is just to see what's going to be at the tournament and how we're setting up. We're looking pretty good. I feel that the team feels pretty strong, and the staff and I feel pretty strong that we got a pretty good shot at it this year.
And you are there. What is your itinerary, and maybe how is that different than last year going down?
It's funny. We talked about that. Last year, I got a kind of crazy idea to stay at the cabins on the gorge, which they're beautiful. It's a beautiful place to visit and probably vacation. It was a little primitive for my guys because, it was a bunk room with 4 bunk beds in it in each cabin, and that's where we stayed instead of a sort of a hotel. And it didn't work out the way I wanted. It was a great time, a great team building experience, but it just it led to too many hardships, I think, and I think we're going to soften it up this year, and we're staying at a hotel this year. So that's one of the itinerary things. Our girls team went last year also, and we did a lot of things with them last year, and I think we're going to try to maybe put a little distance between us, just as a coaching way to make things easier on myself and the rest of the staff, that we don't have to be watching the boys maybe fraternize with the girls too much. So those kind of things, and try to keep our minds on soccer. We got a couple practice sessions set up, and we're still going to have a good time down there. We're going to eat well and plan our meals a little bit more, and the itinerary looks a little better this year than it did. We played, I think, at 5 o'clock last year, and it just we're just not used to it. We're used to a 7 o'clock start time usually. So it's just that 2-hour difference, I think, messed us up a little bit. But hopefully this year we're playing regular time and we should be ready.
Coach, we wish you all the best. Safe travels. Bring home a championship.
Thank you. I hope to.
There you go, John Coleman, boys soccer coach out at Hedgesville. They'll take on Hurricane on Friday in the state semifinals, hoping to advance to the championship game on Saturday. We'll talk girls soccer coming up after the break. Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
CBS News Update. Now 6 days before the midterm election, Republicans and Democrats are making their closing arguments for control of Congress. CBS's Nancy Cordes.
President Trump is campaigning for Republicans here in Florida today. He's been trying to change the conversation to immigration, an issue where Republicans think that they have the edge.
The president's warning that if Democrats get back into power, it will hurt Americans' pocketbooks.
If the midterms, for some reason, don't do so well for Republicans, I think you're all going to lose a lot of money.
Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi has no doubt her party will win control of the House. And on CBS's Late Show with Stephen Colbert, she says the political discourse will change for the better.
I think when we win, you will see evidence of that. Because when we do win, we will have, as we open the new Congress, we will honor the vows of our founders. E pluribus unum, from many one.
CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Very mild and pleasant outside this evening as Halloween festivities gradually wind down. Temperature's going to remain in the 60s. The early morning low back to about 55 at sunrise. Lots of cloud cover for tomorrow. A little limited sunshine in the morning. Generally a grayer afternoon with a high of 72. And then showers in store for tomorrow night through Friday. Friday's high 66. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
The liberal mob is on the loose, crushing free speech and attacking supporters of President Trump. Who's leading the anti-Trump resistance in West Virginia? Tally Sargent. Sargent ran Hillary Clinton's campaign in West Virginia. A pro-abortion extremist, Tally Sargent will block President Trump's agenda and work with Nancy Pelosi and liberals who want to impeach President Trump. Sargent even attacked West Virginians for supporting President Trump. Tally Sargent, part of the anti-Trump resistance. Too liberal for West Virginia.
Alex Mooney is proud of West Virginia and supports President Trump. Alex Mooney chose to raise his family in West Virginia because he shares our values. In Congress, conservative Alex Mooney works with President Trump and supports his agenda. Better jobs with higher wages, defending our Second Amendment rights, supporting the sanctity of life, protecting West Virginians with pre-existing medical conditions. Endorsed by President Donald Trump and West Virginians for life. Alex Mooney for Congress.
I'm Alex Mooney, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mooney for Congress.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Some tricks and treats in the NBA. I'm Jeff Biggs, and Halloween night features 7 games in the NBA, including the Knicks at home in the Garden to play the Pacers. The Jazz are at Minnesota to take on the T-Wolves. LeBron and the Lakers are back at Staples to host the Mavs, and the Warriors will return to Oracle for a playoff rematch with Anthony Davis and the Pelicans. Back in New Orleans with the big NFC showdown coming up on Sunday in the Superdome, the Saints are going to take on the 8-0 Rams without defensive end Marcus Davenport, who's going to miss several weeks with a toe injury. And on the day after the NFL trade deadline, the Jags have signed former Steelers backup quarterback Landry Jones, current Steelers running back James Conner, and the Redskins' ageless Adrian Peterson have been named the NFL's Offensive Players of the Week. I'm Jeff Biggs, NBC Sports Radio.
I'm John Doyle. I'm running for the House of Delegates because I think education is the key to economic development. West Virginia has the lowest percentage of college graduates of any state in the union. That's why we're 49th in the nation in per capita income. Let's make the first 2 years of public college, university, and vocational school tuition free. Then we'll begin to solve that problem, and we'll begin to get really good jobs here in West Virginia. I'm John Doyle. I approve this message.
Paid for by John Doyle for Delegate Rod Snyder, Treasurer.
This is Dave Rogers, head basketball coach at Martinsburg High School and father of Brett Rogers, the Libertarian candidate for House of Delegates. Brett's sense of responsibility, compassion, and open-mindedness will ensure that we will represent all of us equally as a delegate. Brett Rogers has an excellent social and fairness trait that enables him to work as a team player in Charleston to get goals accomplished. Please vote for Brett Rogers on November the 6th for House of Delegates in the 63rd District, paid for by the candidate.
We welcome you back into Miller Time. Matt with you until 6 o'clock this evening. Then it's off to NBC Sports Radio through the rest of the evening. One of the rare nights when we don't have some kind of radio sports play-by-play.
Last night with the Wizards. We'll get into those Wizards a little bit later.
Yeah. If we have time, which means we got to rock and roll, which means it's the bottom of the hour, which means it's time for tomorrow's date in sports history.
Which means what?
Not yesterday, not today, but we'll look at something that happened November 1st in sports history, such as 1913. Get this one. When's the last time you would have ever thought you would hear Notre Dame upsets Army? But that's what it says.
Notre Dame upsets Army?
1913, Notre Dame upsets Army 35-13 in the college's inaugural football game. Quarterback Gus Dorace, I guess is how it would be pronounced, went 14 of 17 for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns. And receiver, you might recognize this name a little better, Newt Rockne.
I do recall that name a little bit.
Yeah, was able to use the forward pass effectively.
The college's inaugural game, like between the two, or Notre Dame or Army's first?
I'm assuming it might have been Notre Dame's inaugural game. It just says Notre Dame upsets Army 35-13 in the college's inaugural football game. So I'm assuming in Notre Dame's inaugural football game, they knocked off Army to get that victory. And Newt Rockne had a big game along with the quarterback, Gus Dorace. All right, let's quickly move on. 1924, the Boston Bruins officially joined the NHL, becoming the first United States-based team to enter the league. How do you like that in 1924? Continuing to move forward, 1946, the first Basketball Association of America game. The New York Knicks beat the Toronto Huskies 68-66 at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. And we will roll on to one more. 1959, future Pro Football Hall of Fame running back Jim Brown runs for 5 touchdowns, leading the Cleveland Browns. Hey, the Browns fans need a day like tomorrow when they can remember when they actually were good at football, to a 38-31 win over the Baltimore Colts at Memorial Stadium.
Just to clarify that first one between Army and Navy, Army and Notre Dame. That must have been the school's first meetings with one another.
Oh, okay.
Notre Dame's inaugural season was 1887.
There you go.
And the Army had been around since before 1913.
So apparently the inaugural game together. I wish the website would clarify things a little better sometimes. All right, now it's on to our next feature. Every Wednesday, Matt and I do our pick'ems, and on Tuesdays, we tell you how we do after you get through the weekend. Coming into today's pick'ems, I gained 3 games this week, so I'm at 58-43. Matt is at 66-35, so I've got to do well this week.
Hey, you won by 3 games last week.
Yeah, I know, but all right, let's quickly run through these. WVU, Texas, in one of our 6 college matchups. Who you taking? Come on, the clock's ticking. You got to go.
Texas.
I'm taking WVU. I think they're getting this win. I think the Mountaineers have righted the ship. Shepherd at UC.
Another game I'm not sure is a gimme. I'm going to go with the Rams. I think they're starting to get back on the right track.
We both take Shepherd. Maryland at hosting Michigan State. I keep wanting to think that game is in Michigan.
I think this game was a lot more interesting before DJ Durkin was reinstated, so I'm going to go with Michigan State.
I am with you. I was thinking I might take the Maryland Terrapins, but when players are walking out of the first meeting when DJ Durkin gets reinstated as head coach, that team's going to be in turmoil. All right, Marshall at Southern Miss.
The Fighting Brett Favres.
You're taking the Favres?
No, I don't know. That's the one thing about teams that Marshall plays.
Right.
I'll go with Southern Miss, yeah, because I know you're going to go with Marshall because you go with Marshall every week.
Well, thank you, and I am. I'm going with Marshall. All right, All right, we'll go with this one first, and then we'll come back to the big one. Number 14, Penn State at number 5, Michigan.
I like Michigan.
I'm going with
Michigan at home.
Penn State pulls the upset. I got that.
Penn State's been a little rocky.
I know, but this is one of those games they rise to the occasion to. All right, Alabama, LSU.
It's so hard to pick against Alabama.
It is.
But it's a home game for LSU. This is one of the biggest rivalries in college football. I'm going to go ahead on a limb and say LSU beats them.
We both took LSU. I'm thinking the same thing. LSU's been playing pretty darn good football. All right, let's move over to the NFL. Atlanta at Washington.
As much as I want to see this win streak continue, 4 straight for this Skins team. But with the addition of HaHa Clinton-Dix in the secondary.
Come on.
I'm going to go with the Skins. I'm going to ride this a little bit. I'll be in attendance, too. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to ride it with you. I think the Skins take this one. Atlanta's been struggling, and against that Redskins defense, I see that struggle continue. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Be careful. Caleb's in the other room. It's his birthday? In that case, Pittsburgh will definitely win. I'm taking the steel curtain.
I'll take – the Ravens have been bumpy the last couple weeks. I think they right the ship. I like the Ravens in this one.
All right. How about Rams at Saints?
Rams.
No way. I've been a Saints guy all season. I'm taking the Saints to get the win.
You do realize the Rams are 8-0 and beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers last week, right?
Okay, and you and I both, when I made that pick a couple weeks ago, taking Aaron Rodgers, I guess it was last week, I thought maybe Green Bay'd pull the upset. And they almost did, by the way. That was a tight game.
Ty Montgomery doesn't fumble at the end. You don't know what happens.
What did you tell me? Come on now, Brett Favre, they can't. Hello?
Brett Favre.
I'm sorry, Brett Favre. That's good. Aaron Rodgers anyway, I think, look, the Rams aren't going to keep this winning streak going forever. They're not. I don't
think they're going to keep it going forever, but I see it going at least one more week.
Saints get the win. Hey, speaking of Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, they're at New England against the Patriots.
Pats.
Yeah, I hate to do it, but I'm probably going Pats as well.
Especially since Green Bay's unloading everybody. Get rid of Ty Montgomery. Get rid of HaHa Clinton-Dix.
Rams at Seahawks. Excuse me. That should be, I think, Chargers at Seahawks.
Chargers at Seahawks, yes.
I mismarked it.
Mike Hornby's Chargers in Seattle, one of the toughest places to play.
Come on, you're taking the Chargers. I'm taking the Chargers.
I'll make it interesting. I'll take the Seahawks.
All right.
That's such a tough place to play.
And finally, the Bucks and the Panthers in a big division rivalry type showdown.
I like the Bucks.
Seriously?
Yeah, I like Fitzmagic coming back and having another good. He's going to ride what he did coming off the bench last week. I'm not convinced on Carolina. I think they're probably a wild card team because they're not going to win. They've
only lost 2 games. One of those was to the Redskins, which makes it questionable, but
I still think the Saints win that division, but I think Carolina gets in as a wild card, but I'm not convinced they're that amazing. Cam Newton has been a quarterback you just can't rely on throughout an entire season.
I can rely on him better than I can rely on that Bucs defense right now. And while I appreciate Fitzmagic being back in there, as a Buck fan, you take the Bucs. I hope you win, but I'm taking Carolina. There we go. That's our picks for this week. We'll find out again on Tuesday how we do. Oh, by the way, if you don't know, at the end of the season, the winner will enjoy a steak dinner at the expense of the loser. At least we both get to enjoy steak.
I like my ribeye rare.
All right, I like mine pretty rare too. So, all right, let's move on to high school girls soccer. We heard earlier from John Coleman, head coach of the Hedgesville boys soccer team. By George, the girls team is going to the state tournament for a second straight year as well. We caught up earlier with head coach Brad Sensel, talking with him about his team, about their regional win, and about heading back to the state tournament.
I think we look pretty good. It's like anything. It's never going to be perfect to how you see it, but they're playing really nice ball right now.
Let's look at that regional final matchup against Washington. What did you guys do well to get that win?
We stayed consistent. We covered the middle third of the field pretty well, and so we were able to control the tempo of the game.
How much do you pride yourself being a defensive team when I look at, the few goals that you've allowed?
It's like anything, especially at this point of the season. When you get into tournament time, defense, really it becomes a game of mistakes now because everybody's going to be relatively close at skill level. Otherwise, they wouldn't be either deep in the postseason or going to state. So now, really, like I said, it's a game of mistakes. And so defense at a high level I like to concentrate on that more than offense. Because defense can sink you if you're not playing efficiently.
Now that you've gotten to this state level, how exciting is it for you and your players to finally be able to see other competition from around the state?
It makes it nice. We played University earlier in the year. We didn't have a full squad yet. We also played Oak Hill in Beckley. That was like the first game of the year, and we were missing 5 of our starters in that particular game, and we held our own in both games. And so we're looking forward. And this is what makes it fun, is when you get into higher level competition and you can compete. That's where it's really fun.
You were at this point last year as well. How does the experience help you this go around?
Well, I think everybody knows what to expect, including me. You know, last year was my first year, and there were some things I probably could have done to, help the team out and all just the logistics of it, so nothing is confusing when you get there, because I try to make our normal startup as methodical as I can to make it habit so they don't have to think about a lot of stuff. And I try to go with, like, the Tony Dungy idea of making habits. And so right now it's going to tell us where our coaching is as a group and where our team is as a group, because we're going to be playing Hurricanes, a very, very tough opponent, and that's who we're facing.
You just mentioned Hurricane also coming in after a 2-0 win. Do you see any similarities between you guys and their squad?
I think I've been told, doing a little bit of scouting anyway, and I know they have a very, very powerful front line, offensive line. And so we're going to counteract that with heavy midfield defense posture. And so I think what we'll do is we'll try to take who feeds the offensive line out of the equation.
Well, Coach, what is the itinerary? When do you leave? What is actual game time for you?
Our game is going to be at about noon on Friday, and so tomorrow we're leaving approximately 6:30 in the morning so we can get to Beckley about the same time we're going to play. Because I like the girls to, practice at the same time so they get a feel for how they're going to feel, what the nutrition needs are going to be, what time they need to facilitate that, and get them just prepared for the game. Then we're going to eat a late lunch or early dinner, whatever you want to call it, and then go back out to the field and, stretch a little bit, kick the ball around while the boys are practicing, and then come back and get ready to go for Friday.
What are the fields like? Tell us about the complex there in Beckley. The state tournament has been there now for a while.
It's a very nice facility. Yeah, they've it's probably one of the best in the state, and I think that's probably why they do it. And it's turf, which my girls like to play on, and so it works for us. It's a nice wide field. We play control ball, and a lot of the girls have played there already in their travel league, so it's not new.
Well, Coach Sensel, thank you so much for your time. Safe travels. Good luck. Bring home a championship.
Hey, thank you very much. That's what we're going to try to do.
There you go. Girls soccer coach from Hedgesville, Brad Sensel. His Lady Eagles ready to take on Hurricane at the state tournament in Beckley. That is on Friday. The boys team taking on Hurricane as well on Friday. We'll do our best to keep you updated with scores as those games are played. And then hopefully we're talking to a couple of state championship coaches next week. We got to get in a break. It includes our Mountaineer Report with Tony Caridi. Then we're back with more Miller Time. No matter how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Affordable, quiet, and reliable, you can count on a furnace from York because it's backed by the strongest warranties available. It's just another way we install confidence. Call Appalachian Heating and Air, your local York dealer at 304-260-5644 to learn how you can move up to a new level of comfort and efficiency this season. AppalachianHeatAir.com.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection that fits your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and personalizing protection to meet them. From bundling your auto, home, and life insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage based on your protection needs, your Allstate agent can build an insurance proposal that fits your life. Are you in good hands? Contact Martinsburg Allstate agent Gary Kelly today for a free quote at 304-263-4596. Life insurance offered through Allstate Life Insurance Company and Allstate Assurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois, and American Heritage Life Insurance Company, Jacksonville, Florida.
Tom Herman's got a Will Greer crush. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Caridi. That story coming up on today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger.
When you order your groceries online at Kroger.com or with the Kroger app, you can do your shopping anytime, anywhere, like the gym, the office, or your favorite comfy couch. Plus, when you visit Kroger.com, you can find hundreds of money-saving digital coupons. And whether you place your order on your phone, tablet, tablet, or computer, it's still your neighborhood Kroger. So you'll find all the fresh choices, low prices, and great deals you love. And once you've selected your coupons and finished your shopping, you choose a pickup time that fits your schedule. And relax while your order is hand-picked, just the way you like it. Then all you have to do is hop in the car and drive to the store's pickup location. And a friendly Kroger associate will load your specially picked order for you. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. It's so convenient. Save time. Shop online today at Kroger.com.
Texas head coach Tom Herman has been watching a lot of them. I mean, a lot of them. Who's them? Well, West Virginia's terrific trio. Quarterback Will Greer, receivers Gary Jennings, and David Sills.
Really good. I mean, he is super talented. You can see why he is on top of, or at the top of most people's Heisman Trophy, short list. And so, he's going to make plays, and and obviously the two receivers are his go-to guys, and so we've got to do a good job. The one thing that they're doing better this year, in my opinion, than they did last year, they're running the ball really well too, and so that creates quite the conundrum on defense, where I think last year, if you sat back and defended the pass, I think you could maybe hold up against the run, with as we call zero count football, meaning you don't have an extra hat on defense. But we're going to have to get +1 to the run game, and so we're going to have to mix and match how we do that, because they are running the ball really well.
Interesting thoughts there from Herman. Statistically, Texas is number 3 in the Big 12 in rush defense. They're only allowing 133 yards per game, but guess what? West Virginia's one spot above. West Virginia is number 2 in the Big 12 this week in rush defense at just under 133 yards per game. And when it comes to running the ball, Texas currently stands at number 5 in the league at 154 per game. West Virginia at number 8, 148 per game. The running game, who can run, will be a huge, huge stat in this Saturday's game. That is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from IMG.
Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
You've been injured, you're missing work, the medical bill collectors keep calling, and the other person's insurance company wants a lot of confusing paperwork signed and returned. At Ferretti Law Office, we handle these situations to protect your rights and get you the compensation you deserve. We explain how the insurance coverages work for your benefit and what a lawyer like me can do to make a difference. Call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505 to schedule an appointment to discuss your situation for free. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
Smith-Nadenbush is an independent insurance agency. You see, there's an important difference between Smith-Nadenbush and agents who work just for one company. Working for one company, they can only sell the products of that company. On the other hand, Smith-Nadenbush can design a program just for you, your family, or your business, and at the right cost. Smith-Nadenbush. Martinsburg, Charlestown, and Berkeley Springs.
We welcome you back into Miller Time on this Wednesday evening. Only about 6 minutes left in the program, and we got one more break to take. So let's jump right into our next conversation. As earlier today, Matt and I got to talk with Sean Martz, volleyball coach for the Musselman Applemen, the number 1 seed in Region 2 and Section 1. They took out Spring Mills last night by a 3-0 score, and Hedgesville, the number 2 seed, defeated Martinsburg by a 3-1 score. That sets up the sectional championship tomorrow night at Musselman. Here's Coach Martz on getting the postseason started.
I thought we played pretty well. We had a couple players out of the lineup. I thought we had some kids stepped in and did a real nice job for us. MK Moores and Abigail McCoy stepped in and took over some of the setting duties in that match. Did a real nice job. Both of them are sophomores. And Dana Rainey stepped in at one of our middle hitter positions, did a real nice job for us. So overall, I thought we did a lot of nice things to start off the playoff run.
How has this season, do you feel, really prepared your team? I know you like to play the tough schedule. You play in all of those tournaments. Do you feel that this team is, playing its best right now and ready to go?
Well, you'd like to hope so. It remains to be seen.
I'm hoping we're starting to peak and realize it's crunch time and start to take care of some of those things maybe we let slide throughout the season. See, that's always the goal, to be playing your best volleyball at the end of the season. So hopefully we're getting there. I don't think we're there yet, but I think we're, getting close.
Some tough competition ahead as you look forward to facing Hedgesville for the sectional championship. What have you seen in the Lady Eagles this year?
They had a really nice team. I think, for sure a top 3 or 4 team in the state. And so it's always a tough matchup against us and them. Pretty good rivals. They have a lot of weapons. They're a really good serving team, good defensive team. They got several good hitters to deal with. So it's going to be a tough task. And chances are there's a good chance that we'll play them again in the regionals like we have, I think, probably for the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do those past experiences kind of help? I mean, you two are so familiar with each other going into this match, right?
Oh, very much so. Even going back the last couple of years, it's kind of the same core group of kids on both teams. And some of them play all season together, so we're certainly very familiar with each other. I don't think there'll be any surprises come tomorrow night.
What does that add to a game when that familiarity is there?
I don't know. It gets a little tiresome playing the same teams over and over, and I'm sure they were probably saying the same thing. It's just, you know each other so well, so it's just kind of who's going to be the more consistent team and who's going to serve and pass better. Usually the team is going to come out on top.
When you look at the other side, you've got Jefferson, who got the win against Washington, and then they will play at Hampshire. Do you pay much attention to that other side, thinking ahead to the regional yet, or is it too soon?
A little bit. I mean, really the sectional final is really just a match for seeding to determine who you're going to play on Saturday. So, last night was really the pressure match because if you lose that one, you're done. So tomorrow night, there's really not a whole lot on the line. I think between Hampshire and Jefferson, we haven't seen Hampshire, but I would say they're probably pretty closely matched teams, so it could be a toss-up between whoever you play. So, we're certainly not going to overlook that match because that's the same situation as last night's matches. If you lose that first match, you're done. So, that's going to be the most important match on Saturday, the first one for both teams, no matter who we face.
There's not a lot of turnaround time from Tuesday to Thursday to Saturday. Is there a concern at all with, playing so close together, fatigue and that sort of thing?
No, not really. Just kind of what you do all season. You usually play Tuesday, Thursday, and then you play a tournament on the weekends in most cases. So, our bodies are kind of used to that pattern of play. So, we kind of give them off or tone it down a little bit at the beginning of the week. And then, we won't go real hard today and probably not real hard Friday just so they have some legs for Thursday's match in for all day Saturday.
Well, Coach, thank you again for a few minutes of your time. Good luck through the rest of the postseason.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Thanks for having us.
There you go. Musselman volleyball coach Sean March joining us here on Miller Time as Musselman will host Hedgesville for the sectional championship tomorrow at 6. We'll wrap up Miller Time after this.
West Virginians believe in the right to life, but West Virginia's state constitution doesn't protect unborn babies. On Election Day, you have a chance to change that by voting yes on Amendment 1. Right now, your tax dollars pay for abortions in West Virginia. Last year, the lives of 1,500 babies were ended by taxpayer-funded abortion. Over the years, nearly 35,000 abortions have been performed, even painful late-term abortions, costing taxpayers nearly $10 million. 35,000 innocent little girls and little boys snuffed out. And you paid the bill. It's wrong. It's appalling. It must stop. If Amendment 1 passes, your tax dollars will not be used to pay for abortions anymore. Protect unborn babies. Stop taxpayer-funded abortion in West Virginia. On Election Day, vote yes on Amendment 1. Paid for by Susan B. Anthony List Education Fund.
Did you know West Virginia's new Speaker of the House of Delegates selected Jefferson County Delegate Riley Moore as the new majority leader? Did you know Riley Moore has a 100% voting record on legislation supported by the Eastern Panhandle Business Association? Legislation advocating education, government, legal, and tax reforms moving West Virginia in the right direction. The EPBA has endorsed Riley Moore for re-election to the House of Delegates in the 67th District. We feel Riley Moore earned our endorsement and deserves your vote.
Paid for by EPBA.
All right, that does it for today's Miller Time. Stay tuned on TV 10. We've got a replay of the Musselman-Martinsburg game starting here at 6 o'clock. Matt, thank you. That's Miller Time on Talk Radio WRNR Martinsburg.
Talk Radio